Yo, what's up guys, it's Tommy Nutter, and in this video we're going to be looking at using preamps in FL Studio to get that analog sound. If this is something you're finding useful and interesting, please like, subscribe, leave a comment and hit that bell to get a notification when a new video drops. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so today we're going to be looking at waves. The plugins that we'll be using today are some preamps. Waves has got a sale that ends in 18 hours as of filming this, so you can get some good stuff from Waves in the sale. Today we'll be trying out Kramer HLS channel, which is amazing. It's one of my favourite plugins at the moment. We're also going to be having a looking at Waves NLS. The Waves NLS, you can use it in two modes, but we're going to be using just it as a preamp today. And the last thing we'll be looking at is the Scheps 73. More of an EQ thing, but it comes with a preamp, so we can take that into account. Okay, so we got, how much have we got in the sale? $49, $49 and $39. So for under $150 you can get yourself a set of nice preamps. Right, so you'll see that I've got a project loaded up. I'll give you a quick play of let's have a look. We'll solo this for the time being, the bass. Let's take a listen. So what we've got there is a bass, a sub bass, and it's got a C6 sidechain on, and that's basically the kick hitting it out of the way. So let's put that on. So the kick stuck in that bass out of the way, and this is what the preamp's doing. You can hear that it's giving massive warmth behind it. It's changing it completely. So that's one of the main uses that I use an HLS for, or any preamp for that matter. Sometimes a sound or a group of sounds can feel thin and lifeless, and sometimes a potentially huge sound can end up feeling really small. And we can combat this using preamps. Now, a preamp is kind of like warming a signal up before it goes into a mixer, whereas distortion and saturation is all about distortion is kind of after the sound has happened. It's more in front of it and on top of it, whereas preamping it, pre-driving it, it's kind of comes from underneath and from behind it. It gives you some beef to whatever you're trying to drive. So in this example we're using it on an 808 bass or a sub bass, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to have a quick look at the plugin and see what we're actually doing with it. I'm going to put EQ so that you can see the spectrum that we're dealing with. Okay. Let's turn our kick off again. Okay, so let's turn the HLS off. And you can see that that's what we had originally. Now it's quite lacking in lower bass. Now it is unheard. It's the sub frequencies that you don't really hear. However, it will add some beef to the overall sound. So let's take a look where it's lacking. We're on about 30 and below there. So if we can boost a little bit below 30, we're doing well. Let's turn it back on. And you can see that it's given a little bit more, but it might want a tad more on this. So we've got the option of going into here. This bottom dial is the lowest end. If we had it on 0, it wouldn't be adding anything. If we take it to 60, it fills in the bottom end, so you can crank it up a little and that gives a little more bottom end. Now any of these moves that I'm making now, I'm only referencing on headphones. I've not got my actual monitors on, so this is probably a little bit overdone or overcooked. You'll notice how the input and the output are offset. You start out with this kind of thing. If you want to drive it anymore, you choose the preamp option at the top. Of course, it adds more noise to it. Now you've got the option to turn the noise off. You can have it on low, and you can turn the analog option off as well. Let's take that back to original. If you want to use the mic setting, that's useful for if you're doing anything like vocals or preamping higher end sounds. It changes the console input from a line input to a mic input. It's useful, but it's not as warm and as underpinning as the line one is. So let's drive it back to where we were. You can use that VU meter there. And the output is basically your gain staging, making sure that you don't add any level. So we'll leave that as it is for now, and let's move on to another one. We'll use NLS instead of this HLS, so we'll disable that. Now NLS stands for non-linear summing, and I've actually got another video coming out in the next couple of weeks that goes into summing using Waves NLS, and it goes a lot more in depth about how you can use it with a bus system. But in this capacity, we're just going to use it as a preamp. So let's put our NLS channel. We'll use a mono because we're on sub bass. Now in NLS you can choose which console emulation you want. You've got Spike, Mic and Nevo. Your Nevo's model is of his Neve desk. The Mic is an SSL desk, I think. I can't remember what the other one is. But yeah, it's basically this drive. Now for this to work, you've got to put it at the beginning. So obviously we'll be ducking our bass out of the way with our kick using our sidechain compressor. That'll come first, then we'll be using the preamp, and then we're on to tape distortion and saturation, which is going to be another video. It's actually going to be the next part in the series, so make sure you hit that notification bell, get notified of when we're going to be covering something about saturation. So Waves NLS, let's take a look and see if we can get to the same kind of level. So you can try all these different ones out. We can try the mic setting. That's actually a nice starting point in this case. You can hear that the Neve gives a little more top end saturation. In fact, I like that. Let's see what kind of drive we can get out of it. So you can get real dirty on this. Right, now that sounds like to me that we're in two different sorts of bass, but really what it is the different harmonics within that same bass sample. Because of the different notes, it's generating different harmonics within the audio spectrum, and it's driving them in a different way really. So it's ended up making our one sound like two separate instruments. We don't want that, not in this case. Let's take a listen again. So we've backed it off to a point where it's not doing that anymore. You'll notice we've added a little bit of gain, so we want to Take that down again. And now we can try out some different options. And the Neve really sounds a lot better in this case. So we're going to leave it as that. And that's basically how you use the NLS as a preamp. Now the third option is the Scheps 73. This is more for using on, well, you can use it on anything. It's got a nice a low cut filter. Very good for using on vocals. Let's stick with the bass for now. We'll disable this NLS. So let's use our Scheps 73, and we'll use the mono version again. So let's take a listen without. Turn our preamp on. Okay, and then we're gonna link these. And let's check without. So our level's doing alright, and now we can get a bit more intrinsic on it. If we were doing something like a vocal or something else, we could use this low pass filter to cut some out, but as we're doing sub bass, we don't want to use that at all. Now what we could do is boost a little bit at the bottom end. This has got a nice option at 35 Hz. And it's quite powerful, this plugin. We can bring that high up for a little high end saturation. Add some at 4.8 as well. Okay, so that really is driving it quite a lot now. We need to turn down our input, get that level back. And there you go, that's the Scheps 73 as a preamp with an attached EQ. The thing with that Scheps is that it's quite powerful. It's really easy to overdo it. It's you've got to really use quite a lot of restraint on your part for just not overcooking it at first. And the noise on that one as well, the noise on the Scheps 73 seems to build up a lot more than any of the others, so you might want to do a high cut filter on that as well. So let's just take a look within context at the entire song. And first of all, we'll use the HLS. Let's disable that. No, you can't even hear that bass much anymore. Let's try the NLS. Is kind of a deeper brooding background bass, and then the Scheps back to the HLS. Okay, let's leave it there. The HLS is my personal favourite for sub bass. It always works out nice for me. The NLS, I like using it more in a summing capacity, so hit the notification bell. We'll be doing a video on that soon. And the Scheps, I like it for a lot more high-end stuff or high-mid stuff, vocals, synths, things like that. It's quite dangerous, easily to overcook it with the Scheps. They're all very powerful tools. As long as you use them in moderation, they're just essential for getting that analog sound. You know what I mean? So I hope that video was useful to you. Using preamps, just beware that they are very powerful. Use them sparingly, don't overcook it. You can easily overdo it, especially with the Scheps 73. Experiment with them, try them on a lot of different things, you know what I mean? Stay tuned for part 2, using the red console from Waves. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And let me know what type of things you use preamps for. Have a great day. Peace.